Yeah, so we were discussing what is the difference between monitoring and observability, and then we also discussed how we can monitor using Amazon CloudWatch, right? What is the tool all about? So Amazon CloudWatch is end-to-end monitoring and observability tool, which has got options to monitor AWS systems, and also you can monitor the systems on your own data center as well as on the other cloud like Azure and the systems. So in general, monitoring basically brings in the performance related metrics, the utilization, the number of users connecting over the network, the number of API calls, and when the service goes down or when the system is experiencing some outages. So we will get to understand the performance, health, and even if there is some cost that has been added by adding new services or by subscribing to new marketplace services, even we will get those things detected and we will be notified. So when it comes to observability, as I said, observability is a superset of monitoring where as a site reliability engineer or as a DevOps engineer, we might not just do the same thing that the traditional team used to do. Like the traditional team, they used to do a kind of monitoring work by looking at the metrics, by looking at the utilization, latency, throughput, only a very basic things. But now the observability comprises of all these things: metrics, logs, and especially the traces. And of course, we need to be notified, we need to be alerted when something goes down or when a particular system reaches an alarm state in the sense like when the utilization reaches 80% or 90%, we have to get notified. So we can either get it notified via email or SMS or push notification using the AWS native event bridge or simple notification service. And even you can also use third party tools like PagerDuty or any online email notification service. Some organization, they also create dashboards to capture all crucial elements or the components that make up the business application. And we used to have a dedicated SOC team or the network operations center NOC team or different team who used to do eyeball monitoring on some of the key performance indicator or the important metrics on each and every business application. So we also discussed about the advantages and use cases the other day. So what we will do is like we will try and discuss these three components: metrics, dashboards, and alarms. Then we will move on to the next topic. Okay, so coming to metrics, as I told, metrics is more about the measuring parameters or the measuring criterias. So here, yeah, the real-time metrics, right? So the utilization of the system, the performance of the system. So these are the things that we generally get monitored. And observability is to observe, right? So when you want to observe something, we need to monitor or to measure some using some metrics. So those are the metrics that we get from each and every system. So even within your operating system, if you are taking Linux operating system, you have the top command, or if you're taking Windows operating system, you have the performance monitor or even the task manager for that purpose. You will get the utilization report or the metrics, which is a more numerical value, right? It is going to tell you what is currently happening on your system in a numerical format. It will say like CPU utilization is 90%, the disk free capacity is only 5 GB, or the network throughput is 2 Gbps. So it will be giving you performance utilization of your system in a near real time. It can be a real time data as well, but I would call it as near real time. And the nature of the data is only numbers, right? So if in unlike your other event viewer or logs, if you go and look into that particular console, there will be a lot of text information, there will be a lot of detailed description and information that is available, which is consuming a lot of space. Because if you store a lot of information in there, the log files and all, it might accumulate a lot of stuff, especially when there is a error or when there is some issues going on your system. It will start populating too much of logs, and that might occupy a lot of data. But when it comes to metrics, it is pretty much light size in nature because it is just storing the numerical data. The data size will be very less. Example, the performance monitor or the task manager or even the network monitor or internet monitor. These kind of tools, including the AWS native metrics explorer, it does not consume a lot of space because of the way it is storing the data. So the data is actually variables, right? It is showing you where exactly the memory utilization is, where is the memory leak, how much is the network traffic coming in. So CloudWatch provides you metrics for almost all the services in AWS, and we can also group them in specific namespaces as you want. So if you want to have a business application separately monitored under the metrics explorer, you can go and create a separate namespace, and you can add whatever the systems or whatever the servers that are part of the specific business application or grouping. So by default, there are certain metrics that you will get. So when you go and deploy a EC2 instance, or when you go and create a new virtual machine in an AWS platform, so I mean, by default, if the AMI, if the Amazon machine image has got the agent, so the system will start sending some of the basic metrics by default. But if you want to get some detailed metrics or some advanced level of information, you will have to go and configure some additional custom metrics, or some extra configuration has to be done. So I'll show you a quick demo the other day when we connected on Monday. So you were expecting some hands-on demo for this particular topic. So what I will do is I will just go and check. I have created a couple of VMs, just basic VMs just now. Okay, I've created a couple of Linux and one Windows server so that we can see the demo for this stuff. And even I will show you a quick demo on how you can add non-AWS system. It is pretty much the same. So you have to just download the agent and connect it to a specific region using the credentials. So that way you can even add your on-premises or any other cloud systems. So if I want to log into one of the system, I can just connect to the system, and I will show you what exactly we are currently seeing. So let me just go to CloudWatch first, and I will copy this instance ID. Okay, I've just created the system. Okay, let me go to CloudWatch. So here also you will see some information if you go to this monitoring tab. So the basic information will be available here. So if you look at the information, you can see that the basic CPU utilization, network, and the CPU credit balance are available, but you won't get the information like memory utilization, disk utilization. If you want to capture those information, I'll show you how to configure those detailed monitoring. So there are there are two classifications of monitoring: basic monitoring and detailed monitoring. So basic monitoring comes for free. So if you want to enable detailed monitoring, you can also go and enable it, and this is going to add up additional cost, but you will get some additional benefits. See, by default, you will get basic monitoring, and if you want to get detailed monitoring, the option is available, but you have to pay extra cost for that. It incurs additional cost because it is going to store more detailed information because of the data, right? So by default, the basic monitoring gives you the information gets populated every 5 minutes. So if you look at here, so I'll enable it. I will enable detailed monitoring. Just we will do it later. So if you look at here, if I go to this CPU utilization for an example, I will just enlarge and show you. You can see the metrics is for every 5 minutes. Okay, sometimes if the service goes down and or the utilization changes very quickly, so you will not be able to capture it. So these kind of metrics, it captures every 5 minutes, 4, 5, 4, 10, 4, 15, 4, 20, right? So it captures the basic monitoring, gives you information every 5 minute interval. But if you want to have detailed, very granular thing, then you have to go with detailed monitoring. After you enable detailed monitoring, you will start seeing the information every minute. And by default, in basic monitoring, you get the 10 default monitoring metrics. So when I say metrics, the CPU credit, the CPU utilization, the network in, network out. So these are the stuffs that I'm talking about. So you will get 10 default metrics without any additional cost using the free tier or the basic monitoring. But if you go for detailed monitoring, you will get additional deep dive information, and even you can get to every single second also. So it gives you very granular information, even though the console shows you every minute. So you can go and get what has happened every second. So that is the detailed monitoring. So let me just close this. And what I will do is, let me log into the system, and then I will show you a few things here. And I will also open up the CloudWatch dashboard. So CloudWatch has got separate sections for metrics, logs, alarms, and so on. So we are trying to first look at the metrics, right? So metrics has got inbuilt metrics explorer. That is the tool where you can go and watch what is happening on your systems, right? If you look at the EC2, you've got the automatic dashboard. I'll come to the dashboard a little later. And if I go inside the EC2 instance, I could see per instance metrics available automatically here. And it will show you the same set of information what you are seeing there. For example, if I want to check the details for this EC2 instance, I can go and filter it by EC2 instance ID, or if you have a name assigned through tagging, you can also get that details using the name also. I'm going to filter it by instance ID. So if I filter it, it will just filter down the details of the system by instance ID. You can see it is available with the name as well. So you can see there are additional information that are there, like the EBS, CPU utilization, network. So these are the 10 or the basic basic monitoring metrics that are available using the free tier category or the basic monitoring category. So what if I want to have advanced metrics like memory utilization or disk? That is where you can go and configure extra custom metrics on your system, and that could be fed into your um, CloudWatch console. So I'll quickly show you how to download or how to configure it. So if you don't have the agent, it is pretty much straightforward. Just log into the system, and then this is what you have to do in your on-premises system as well if you want to download it. So there are two different agents, or I would say there are multiple versions of agent. So for Linux, you get a zip file where you can download it directly from the AWS, Amazon AWS.com site, and you can just paste it. So first it will download the zip file. You can use the wget command, or you can use the curl command to go and log into the site and then download it. So once after you download this zip file on your system, it can be your Azure machine or on-premises machine. So you have to unzip that file. At times you might not have this unzip tool. So if you don't have it, you have to install the unzip tool. Okay, so it is there already on this machine, and I can just go and run this install.config. So if I run this, it is going to tell me like the agent is already there, or if it is not there, it is going to install it, right? So and then finally you can go and configure what you want to do. So while you want to configure it, see, there are two ways of doing it. So if you go to the let's say, think, okay, so this is the CloudWatch agent. Okay, let me go to OPT. Okay, so here it is. So this is where you get the Amazon CloudWatch agent folder, and this is where you have the configuration file. So generally the configuration file in the Linux are stored in etc folder. So see, there is a root etc, that is where all the application configuration files are generally stored. But here for Amazon CloudWatch, it is stored under /opt/AWS, and that you have a folder, and you will have a etc folder. Within that, you will have the configuration file. So if you want to modify this configuration file, or if you want to have some centralized way of managing the activities, so generally the cloud operations team, they prefer to use Systems Manager. So Systems Manager is a tool which we will discuss in details, but for now I will just show you how to use for one of these use case. So this is where you completely manage your entire environment for patching or for any automation or any activities that you want to perform across your AWS resources. Systems Manager is a centralized tool like your SCCM or a Big Fix. You can use this tool for patching, for automation, for compliance, for inventory, and a lot of different things. So here, what I will do is I will show you how to use one of the option like the parameter store. Even you can use this parameter store to store some credentials or store some important information. Even you can use secrets manager or key management service if it is just secret or key management purpose. But here what I'm going to do is I want to store some configuration information also. So even you can store some password or some license code and stuff and fetch it from here. But there are other purpose I mean, what do you call, like purpose fitting tool for key management service, secrets manager, and so on. So if you want to have more secure way of storing it, you can go and choose that particular specific tool like secrets manager or key management service or certificate manager. AWS provides you a lot of different tool. If it is just key manage key, if you want to store key, you can store the encryption key here. Or if you want to just store the secrets alone, you can go and put it in secrets manager. If you want to store the certificate, you can also put it in certificate manager. But here, this tool, the parameter store, can store a lot of information. You can store the configuration, secrets, passwords, stings, license code, and you can fetch it. But this is less secure compared to your the other tools, because this is open for cloud operations team. Whoever has got systems manager admin access, they will be able to access it. But this is a much better way of storing and accessing. Instead of storing within the operating system, this is going to be a good option where you can centrally store and fetch whenever you want it. And this is also going to avoid too much of configuration happening on each and every system. So just for an example, I want to configure some alarm, or I want to create some content. Let me just put some path. You can give whatever name you want. Okay, so that is the name you have to specify here. So just for an example, I want to give it as slash alarm slash um, let's say stan AWS. You can give any name. Okay, so this is the exact name that you have to give while you want to fetch that information. So either there are two options. Okay, one, you can store the configuration file locally on your system and you can fetch it using the local file, or else you can store it in the centralized location like systems manager and you can fetch it. So I'm going with the little better practice. In an organization, mostly you will see the administrators are doing the same. See, if you have 2 3 systems, yeah, then I think you can do it directly within the operating system. If you have 50 100 and thousands of system, then it is better to do the configuration management at a central place like systems manager, right? So if you want to store a lot of information, a lot of parameters, then you can go for the advanced option. Like if you have more than 1 lakh parameters, if you have more than 10,000 parameters, if you want to specify, you can go for advanced. It supports up to 1 lakh. And this file size it supports is 4 KB, the standard one. If you have the configuration file is too huge, like some Ansible configuration or some playbooks might be little larger, so you can go for advanced option. But for us, I think standard should be more than sufficient. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to gather the memory related information and disk related information. So if you go to AWS portal, you will see the documentation available for that. Let me also see if I have that. Okay. Yeah. So if you scroll down, see, this is what I'm going to get. I'm going to collect the memory out of the instances, and also I want to collect the disk used percentage from the system. So this is what it's a very small JSON file. So that will help you to gather these two additional information when it comes to the EC2 instances. So similarly, you can write, you can get a lot of JSON files on AWS GitHub. So you don't have to write these things. Okay, these are all already available in AWS documentations also. If you just go to AWS documentation and then say, I want to gather memory and disk metrics. and then say JSON file, you will get the same content from their portal itself. So you can just go here, and then you will get the same JSON file what I have typed there. Okay, so these are the things that you have to you can use: memory free, memory available, memory total. So these are the examples that you can fetch. And okay, so you can also go and add any additional metrics that you want. If you want to capture some other stuffs like beyond memory, or if you want to capture some buffer details or virtual memory, so there are a lot of metrics that are available. Even if you go up, you can see these are the complete list of metrics. Okay, so if you want to understand the disk IO write time, or if someone is saying like it is taking a lot of time to write some information, you can capture that metric. And if someone is saying the Ethernet, the network traffic is slow, you can capture that. So there are many hundreds of metrics which you can include in your JSON file to capture. So there are many different metrics, but by default you will get 10 metrics. But if you want to gather more and more metrics, you can just add it in the JSON file and you can start capturing them. So I'll create this parameter, and then the same file path. This parameter is going to tell me which are the metrics that I want to capture from my EC2 instances. For now, I just added only two additional metrics, one for memory, one for disk. These are all stuffs that won't come by default. Okay, so if you want to gather memory and disk, you have to configure it like how I am doing now. So either you can do the same configuration file, you can go and edit this configuration file and then add those elements, or if you want to capture it or fetch it from a centralized parameter store like systems manager, you can do the way that I have done. So if I want to point that particular path on my server, I have to go and mention where exactly the configuration file is. There are two options. Okay, one, you can mention if the file is locally, you can just say -l, and then you can mention the local path. Or if the file is on SSM, systems manager parameter, I can just mention SSM. So there are two options. Okay, so you can mention it as local if the configuration file is locally stored on your server. That is very straightforward option. That is you will see that in very small organization, but in enterprise organization, they generally store it in central location and they will fetch it. So in our case, I am storing it in SSM and I am fetching it from there. So this command is to go and fetch the configuration and try to configure the CloudWatch agent to send additional metrics. So this command is going to inform CloudWatch agent that it has to configure and fetch more information that is specified on this parameter file. Okay, that is what we are going to specify on that server. So let's go and run this command. Okay, so it is stopped, and then okay, so I think looks like it validated. The configuration validation should have to get succeeded. If there is some problem, then maybe your EC2 instance does not have permission to access the systems manager, or it doesn't have access to read that file. So you can also go and check whether the connectivity is there, whether the system is accessible through the HTTPS portal, and you can also go and validate your IAM credentials. Okay, now after just give a couple of minutes, okay, and then it will take few seconds to start capturing it. If you want to check the status of the agent, okay, this is the command just to check the agent. Okay, so previous command, we have given the configuration file location and we have configured the agent to include additional metrics. So this command is just to check whether the agent is running or not. Okay, it says the agent is configured and running, and you can also see when the agent start time was. Okay, and you can just wait for a couple of minutes, and this is what you have to do in your on-premises machine also. And let me try to come here and refresh the metrics. See, certain tools gives you option to go and fetch the information from different geographical regions. See, just for an example, for CloudWatch, you have an option here, right here. So you can just go and switch to another region or another location here itself. You don't have to go and change the location or region on the topmost right. Instead, within the console itself, certain services allows you to switch from one region to another region. So if you want to check the same metrics in some other region, you can see it here only. So there is a drop down option where you can get it. So now let's go and check all the metrics and then see if there is something new that has come up. So I could see custom namespaces CloudWatch agent. So it says instance ID. See, it shows stan Amazon Linux 01 and then memory used percentage. So this is how it will show. It will not show under the default metrics. Since we have configured the CloudWatch agent to include these things, it has started showing this. So this is for the stan Amazon Linux 01. If I want to do the same thing for another instance, I have to say follow the same procedure. I can just go to this Ubuntu Linux and then just connect the same way that I did, and then execute the same command. Okay, so let me run the command. I will configure the same file. Okay, I will show the same file for the system to pick it up. Okay, so this is this is Ubuntu, right? Okay, what I will do is I will try to run the same command and then see if I'm able to Amazon CloudWatch agent. Okay, let's try. Maybe this machine might not have the unzip tool. Let's try. But these days, systems have become more easier. See, it clearly tells me what command I have to run for installing that unzip tool. So it says go and run apt install unzip. So if it is Red Hat, you can use RPM, and similarly, if it is Amazon Linux or other Linux, you can use deb command or yum command for updating your packages. So here in Ubuntu Linux, it says we can use this command to install the unzip tool. Okay, apt install unzip. It has already installed the unzip tool now. So in some situations, you might also have to do it in your systems. So now I have installed the unzip tool and then I'm unzipping the package. It is inflating it. So once after it inflated, I can just go and run this install.sh shell command. This is the file that I'm going to execute. Okay, so once after I do it, then I will have the configuration tool through which I can do the additional configuration. Okay, let me copy this. And then now I will paste it and then run it. Okay, so it has done the same thing. Configuration validation is succeeded. It has fetched the information. Now, if I go to the metrics, after a couple of minutes, I should start seeing the additional system also getting listed. The Ubuntu Linux also will get listed here. The same way you can do it for multiple different systems. So the default metrics will be available under EC2. If you go to EC2, you will see the default metrics here, the per instance metrics, and the CPU utilization, network utilization, whatever the stuff that comes by default, all those things will be available here. And whatever the stuff that I've added, right, the additional metrics for the system, you have to go one step higher to the metrics root folder, and here you can see this is the custom metrics that we have configured. We have additionally asked the agent to send us a couple of more information like the memory and disk. So this is where you will see the CloudWatch agent triggered additional custom metrics. The default one, you don't have to really do anything. So this is the instance ID. Within that, I could see the stan Amazon Linux. You will see that other server also very soon. And one step back, if you just go, you can also see that the disk thing is here. Okay, so if you look at the disk used percentage, that is also here. So for the stan Amazon Linux, there are multiple different partitions within my root folder //temp/boot/dev/etc and so on. It is showing me like how much is the disk used percentage for this particular stan Amazon Linux. So this is what we have asked to do, right? We have asked to capture two different additional custom metrics. One is your disk used percentage, and the other one is your memory used percentage. So you are seeing it in two different folders under the namespace. So that's where you have to go and dig into it. So if I just go one step higher, so within the custom namespace, under the CloudWatch agent, there are two different folders that has got created. You can see now the instance count has increased to 2. So which means I'm getting one more server added up. That is my Ubuntu Linux. Right. So this is how you can add additional custom metrics to be explored if you want to observe more metrics, more details, more utilizations, performance related stuff from your systems. You can go and add custom metrics like what you want. And if you're good with the default one, then the default one are available under the root, under the default namespaces. These are the default AWS namespaces. Within that, for each and every service, whatever you are creating, those services will be available. See, the reason I'm saying the services whichever you are using, for example, I might not have used the EC2 in a particular region. For example, I've never logged into Cape Town. Okay, if I go to Cape Town, I will not see any metrics here. The reason is I have never created any services there. So it's not like you don't have permission. Since I have not created any resources or any used any products there, it will not pop up the metrics or stuffs there. See, for example, let's go to Mumbai. I might have created something in the past. So Mumbai might show me some data. Let's say Mumbai. So it will show me the metrics data for whichever the service I have created. See, I've only created S3 in Mumbai. So that is the reason it is showing S3. So whichever the services you are consuming, you are going and spinning it or deploying it, those metrics will get populated. It is not that everything will be coming by default. So whichever the services you are consuming, those metrics will be imported to your AWS account and you will start seeing it. Okay, so that's how it is. So now going back to the North Virginia region, so I could see some of the services which are listed here because I have created CloudFront last week. We have tried configuring AWS config. So those are the metrics which gets added up here. So under the CloudWatch agent, the custom metrics, the two different metrics that we have added, right? For the disk, it is already 18 now. So 9 file systems for Amazon Linux server. And then for the Ubuntu also, it has added the root folder, boot folder, run, snapshot, and everything, right? So it will tell me whichever file system, when the disk used percentage is reaching a particular level, it will alert us. Okay, so now let's talk about the alarms and how we can get notified when there is a issue with your system. So any questions so far on the default metrics and the additional custom metrics that we have added?
Stan,
Yeah.
Santosh here.
Yes,
For
Santosh.
Windows prospect also we can perform, right?
Yeah, I will show you that. See, for Windows, I think I've created one Windows. It's the same thing. Okay, so you let me log into that quickly. Maybe I will show you a quick demo on that also. So this is Windows Server. Okay, this is the first time I'm logging into the server. So let me get the password. Stan AWS. Okay, downloads. Okay, I'll fetch the password. Okay, so now let me log into the system and then I'll show you the next demo on this server possibly. Okay, let's say as an administrator, I want to get notified when a particular utilization reach beyond a particular threshold. Let's say my CPU utilization or memory utilization goes beyond 80% or 70%. I have to get notified via an email or any notification. Like if you want to get it in message, you can also configure that, but I'll show you quickly how you can configure the alarm first and then how to get the notification. This time we will use the Windows server for the example. Okay, yeah, I've copied the entire password. Okay. So there are certain tools you can use to generate that alarm. For example, let's say if I'm watching some YouTube videos or if I'm watching some high graphics content, automatically the network utilization will climb, and when the network utilization is increasing, the CPU utilization will also exponentially grow actually. So what I will do is I will show you example on both Windows and Linux. So custom metrics and the standard metrics I've showed you. So the metrics explorer will give you a lot of different dimensions. And if you want to create your own namespace for different business application, you can also create it within the metrics explorer. Let the system come to the usage properly, like it to load the server manager and other steps. I will show the demo there. So coming to the console, yeah. Yeah. So first one we were talking about metrics, right? So metrics is the very basic thing, and we have started seeing the default metrics, as well as we have created a custom metrics. And metrics is where you get the details in a time ordered way. When I say time ordered way, in every minute or every 5 minutes, you are seeing the utilization for CPU, network, the transactions that are hitting the server from the network. So metrics are grouped under namespaces. There are default namespaces, as I showed you. AWS service wise, they have a namespace. So whatever the grouping that I showed you, right, that is what they are calling it as namespace. So here, this is what they call it as namespace, right? So namespace is nothing but the folder that gets created for the grouping purpose. You can also create your own namespace if you want for each and every application, and then you can group them under a particular grouping. So namespace is a collection of different metrics for the specific area, specific servers or specific application or specific custom stuff. You can also go and create your own metrics or namespaces. So namespaces are group of metrics that can be for a single server or a single application, or it can be for a specific AWS service like EC2, RDS, or S3. Okay, so AWS provides you a lot of native metrics for a lot of different services. Almost all the product and services performance could be monitored using AWS Amazon metrics, Amazon CloudWatch metrics, and the default retention period is 15 months. Okay, so if you want to store for more number of days, you can go for custom configuration. But by default, you have the metrics data that will be retained for almost 1 year and 3 months. And if you want to change the interval, the frequency, that is where you go and change it to the high resolution metrics or the detailed monitoring. So if you want to get more details, as I said, it will start sending you additional bill for you if you want to go and enable that. But I'll quickly show you the difference. Okay, so let me quickly enable it for the system. Go and enable the monitoring section, and I can just say manage detailed metrics. So after I confirm the detailed monitoring, the billing will start, and you will start getting the details for every single 1 minute. Okay, so let me. So it is also telling now. So the detailed metrics will be moved to a different namespace. It will be under CloudWatch agent namespace. There will be a separate folder namespace for this server, and within that you will start seeing the information or the metrics. So here also you will start seeing the difference. Let me show you the enlarged view. So it will also change to every 1 minute in some time. Okay, let me also go to this metrics here and then refresh. So it will take some time. Okay, don't rush. Actually, it will take at least 1 or 2 minutes to reflect whatever we have changed. So you can see that it has created some additional stuffs. Hopefully, okay, it will take few minutes, and then I will show you that. Okay, let the detailed monitoring get into effect. Okay, once after you get the detailed monitoring, the per instance metrics will be much closer, or much, the dimension will be very large. Okay, let me go to the instance name. So you can filter by the name, or you can also filter by the instance ID. If you have a name, better go by the name, but always best practice is to go by the instance ID. That is the unique identifier. Okay, so yeah, see, that's the thing. Better go with the instance ID. Okay, so now if I go to, just for an example, this CPU utilization, see from the recent time, it has started getting the information. I have just pinned up just before the class. Okay, so if I want to just go and fetch it for the last 1 hour, I can also get it. And in some time, I will also start seeing the detailed information. Let's give 5 minutes for the things to get reflected. Okay, and then we will check again. And okay, what we will do, we will also try and increase the CPU utilization. There are a couple of tools that are available natively from online. See, for example, if I'm talking about my Windows server, if I go to my browser and then search for the stress tool on a particular um, component like memory or CPU, there are Microsoft native tools that are available. I will show you that. See, if you are good in Python or if you are good in PowerShell scripting, you can also do that using some script, but there are native tools that are available. Okay, let this load. It will take some time because of the capacity. We have just given only 1 GB and 1 CPU, T2 micro. So that's the reason it is pretty much slow. Okay, let it. Already the system is experiencing slowness, but I'm trying to go and overload it now. So let's look at the task manager very closely. So that way, see, don't do these things in production. Okay, so you can try these things in your test system or in your, let's say, in your lab environment or in your development environment, not definitely not on your production, because sometimes this might bring your system down. See, currently already the memory utilization and CPU utilization is very high here. So, of course, if you configure the alarm, you will get the notification. But if you want to have sustained utilization of CPU or memory, you can go and download the tool. What happened? You can go and download the tool. So let me download the CPU stress tool because some memory is already overutilized there. So there is a portal called Microsoft Sys internals. Okay, so that is providing you a lot of utilities and tools that will be helpful for your operating system administrator role. So these are native Microsoft tools, whatever we are seeing on the left. So you might have used the background info tool for setting up a background, or if you want to have a blue screen screensaver, or if you want to debug something. So there are many hundreds of tools that are available, but I'm going to download the CPU stress tool that will allow me to put a stress on my CPU and increase the utilization. Currently, the CPU utilization is around 40%, right? I'm going to bring it to 70 or 80%. So before doing that, let me also show you how to configure the alarms here. Currently, all my systems are green. Okay, there is no alarm. There is no systems in alarm state, but I want to create an alarm for a specific set of servers. Let's say I want to choose my EC2 instance. And for this one, you can also do it across all the instances if you want. Okay, there is an option here. One step back, if you go here, you can see there is an option across all instances. But if I want to do specific system, I can come and do it for the specific system. So here I can search for the EC2 instance where I'm trying to do. Okay, let me copy this thing. I can do it for both the systems, one Linux and one Windows. Okay, coming to the metrics here, I can search for that. So let's say I want to test the CPU, right? Let me select this, and then I will go next. I can select this metric. Same thing I can also do for my other systems. See, automatically it is already hitting 90% at times, and it is coming down. So consistent usage, right? I want to have average for a period of, if the utilization is 80% for a period of, let's say, 1 minute continuously on an average, I should receive an alarm. So even you can also configure anomaly detection. If there is some change in pattern or change in usage, automatically it will send you the alert. So I will say my CPU utilization is greater than 80%, or let's say 75%. It should send me a notification or alert. So you can also configure different values here. If you want to reduce the number of servers, or if you want to do auto scaling also, you can also do that. But let me just go with it. So here, when my system reaches in alarm state, okay, when the utilization is consistently hitting 75% and above, I should get a notification. So I don't have any SNS topic currently created. Let me go and create one. So I will just say, okay, this is fine. So it is default CloudWatch alarms topic. Fine. I can also send it to my address, scaleupwithstan@gmail.com. You can send it to your public distribution list, or in some organization you will add service desk at that organization.com name. Okay, so that way you will get it to a ITSM tool or a public distribution list, or you can also send it to a specific email address. You can add comma and then add as many number of email address that you want. So I can just do this. And then even you can run some Lambda function to automate, or if you want to create additional systems when the utilization reaches 80%, or if you want to terminate the instance, you can also add EC2 actions here. Okay, so you can power off the system or restart the system. There are a lot of things that you can do. Let me click on next. To we have to approve the creation of that particular thing. Okay, so how I have to do it, I have to go to my email address. It will send me an alert saying like I have to subscribe for this notification. See, if you're not doing this step, see, everyone will start sending us flooding of emails, right? So if I want to restrict the number of emails coming to me, I have to confirm whether I'm interested in receiving this topic. So whatever going wrong with this topic from this particular AWS account from this region, if I want to receive it, I have to confirm it. Only after I confirm, I will start receiving the notifications or the alarm related events. So now I have confirmed that I'm interested to receive that notification. So that is the step that you have to do, and then click on next. And then if you want to add some specific stuff, if you want to customize it, you can add it. So CPU utilization on your system is beyond the threshold, take action immediately. You can just, whatever you want to write, you can write it here. You can just say stan your system is running short of CPU, kindly take action. So whatever you want to mention, you can just mention it here. Okay, and then click on next. So it is clearly showing me that if my CPU utilization goes beyond 75% for a period of 1 minute, I will get the notification. If you want to configure it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you can do whatever way you want. Okay, so create alarm. Okay, now in order to bring that alarm here, what I will do is I will go and test the CPU here on my server. So as I told you, don't do it on your production system. So I'll go and extract this file. Extract. So you'll get a exe file. Okay, so run that exe file. So if it is a 64-bit system, just run the 64-bit, or if it is a 32-bit system, then run the other one. This is the Microsoft native tool. So currently, if I look at here, my CPU utilization is 30% only, right? So, and if I want to start the processing here, I will activate one CPU. So the utilization should have to start increasing. So if I want to change it to higher priority, I can also change the activity level to let's say medium. It will increase it to 50%. See, I can see the utilization is growing. Similarly, if I want to activate multiple processors, utilization, it will increase. So my expectation, I want my system to be continuously above 75% for a period of 1 minute. That is what I'm trying to achieve here. Okay, so now I mean, don't do beyond that. Okay, so your system will power off if it is consistently above 98 or 100%. I'm trying to maintain it around 90 now. Okay, so let's wait for a minute. Automatically, the system should show us it is in alarm state that the CPU is beyond the utilization. The same thing I can do it on my Linux also. There are some Python script. You can see that there is one system that is coming into green. So it is showing currently insufficient data. Maybe it is going to come into alarm state. That's the reason it is currently like the details are not yet fetched. Okay, so it is currently fetching the data. Same thing I can do it for my Linux system also. So this is alarm topic. Okay, so I'm trying to configure the alarms when a particular system reaches the defined threshold. Okay, so the other system I can just go and say, for instance, okay, this is Amazon Linux. The same thing I can do it here also. For this system, I want to select the metric. I will do the same thing. On an average, if my utilization is the same for last 1 minute, and if it goes beyond, let's say 70%, I should receive a notification. I can use the same SNS topic. This is the same topic which I used for the other instance. I can use the same thing and then click on next. I can just add whatever CPU utilization is above the threshold. Kindly take action. Okay, so I've created 2 alarms now. Okay, so one system it is showing that the status is currently okay, but it should turn to alarm state in a minute, because the data has to be fetched. As I told you, it will take at least 5 minutes for the first time to fetch the information. So currently, the system is saying okay. Initially, it will say insufficient data until the connectivity, until the alarms are starting reported. It will say insufficient data, and once after it starts getting the information, it will change to okay. And then if this alarm is there, it will change to in alarm state. So there will be 3 different states here. So first it will be in insufficient, then it will move to okay state, and then it will come to alarm state if there is a real problem in that system. So I'm continuously hitting 95% on the 100% on this system. So we will give it some time. Okay, and then let's see if I get the notification. Let me refresh. So both the systems are now ready for monitoring. So after a few minutes, I should start both the systems in alarm state. Even I should start receiving the email here. See, okay, I can also, okay, resubscribe it, because this is, I have created one more, right? So I can resubscribe for that also. So if I'm using the same SNS topic for multiple alarms and notification, sometimes it will ask us to resubscribe it, because I've used it for multiple different alarms. So for the first alarm, it will say confirm, and the next one it will say resubscribe. Okay, let's give it some time. We don't have to closely monitor that. So we are looking at the alarm topic now, where if a particular system goes beyond a utilization percentage, I want to get notified. So that is the second topic, right? If a particular utilization, CPU utilization or memory utilization or the disk free capacity is reaching a particular threshold for a period of specific minute, I want to send a notification, or I want another instance to be created. This is what alarm is all about, okay? So alarm can be just notification, or you can also stop the instance or terminate the instance by selecting the EC2 action on the alarm console, or you can also create one more instance to handle the requirement or handle the performance situation. And you have multiple options to do it. Okay, so for now we have understood how to create it. So these are the 3 different state. If it says okay, then the metric is within the defined threshold, so the system is below the 70% or 75% that we have configured. If it is continuously on that particular utilization level, it will say it is within the threshold and it will say okay. But if the metric is outside the defined threshold, let's say if it goes beyond the 70%, 75% which you have configured, it will say it is an alarm state, and automatically based on the evaluation duration, based on the data point that we have configured, it will send us the email alert to whichever ID, or it will create a priority ticket if you have configured the alerts to be sent to an ITSM system like ServiceNow or whatever. So alarm is also very important topic. Let's say whether we are seeing some changes here. Yeah, so you can see that the first Windows machine, right? We have mentioned 75% utilization. So it is saying it is an alarm now. The reason is the system is continuously beyond 75%, right? It is continuously hitting the 80% mark. So let me just reduce it, deactivate this. So the CPU utilization will come down. Okay, I'm trying to, okay, let's get the alert first. Okay, I should have got the alert already. See, I've got the alert already. Okay, it says 2 minutes ago. Okay, not this. What happened? It says unsubscribed. No, we have already resubscribed, right? Okay, fine. Let's wait for that. Okay, I should get the alarm notification in some time. Okay, just give it a minute. See, if the utilization goes down, then it will change from in alarm state to a normal state. Okay, so it will go back to okay state. So similarly, let's do the same thing on my Windows server. Where is my Windows instance? Sorry, Linux instance. So this is Ubuntu. This is my Amazon Linux, right? So there is a script available for that also. I will show you that. So CPU stress, the same thing. Okay, same thing for Windows. We also have this, have it for Linux also. Okay, let me copy this. So it is going to have the simulation for my CPU instance will be continuously above 80%. Okay, that is what I'm trying to simulate using this script. So I can go to my EC2 instance, and then let me connect to the system again. It has hung. Let me connect. So that is a kind of Linux Python file, okay, Python script. Similarly, you can create PowerShell script if you want. Okay, I will just say, I will go to the temp folder. I will create a Python file, CPU stress dot Python. So I will paste that content. So this script is going to continuously hit my CPU utilization. It is going to increase my CPU utilization. Same like what we did on Windows Server. Okay, in order to run this, I can just use the Python 3 and then the CPU stress and then try to run it. So it is going to simulate the CPU spike at 80% for a minute. Okay, so once after it is simulating the utilization, like how we did for the Windows, right? So you can go and type top command to see with how the CPU utilization has changed. So after 1 minute, I should also see the alarm for my Linux server also. So this is something I want to show you live. So that's the reason I'm simulating it and showing the utilization. So the same way, like the tool that we have used here, don't use it in your production environment. It is going to be risky. Okay, currently it is below the 75%, right? So the alarm should go away. So it will take some time, and we'll also see whether we got some email for that. I don't know what happened of this one. Resubscribe 5 minutes ago. Okay, you already subscribed only, right? Okay. Okay, let's give it some time, and then this also should have to change to in alarm state. Okay, so alarm is a topic where if you want to get notification, or if you want the CloudWatch service to trigger a notification for a particular metric, there are many options. Okay, you can watch for the sampling, or if you want for a 1 minute period, if the utilization is beyond the threshold, it will automatically send you the alert. So coming here, so alarms are nothing but notifications that you can configure. You can either send it to your ITSM tool, or you can either send it to your public distribution, email distribution list, or you can send it to your mobile message, or whatever method you want, you can do it. So alarm is nothing but it watches a specific CloudWatch metric, or it can be a composite metric also. You can configure multiple metrics also. And then watches the specific metric and alerts as if the configured metric reaches above the threshold level. So that's what we were seeing, right? So you can look out for average usage, or minimum usage, or maximum usage, whatever. And there are three different states that you will get. Those are all okay state mean there is no issue, and insufficient data means it is trying to fetch the information. The alarm has just started. The metric is not yet available for the data to be furnished. So it will take some time. And then if it is in alarm state, then it is outside of the threshold limit. So it is already gone beyond, and we are in risk actually. So the data is being fetched. It's not yet available. Okay means no issue. So it is below the threshold. So relative, it's about maths here. So we have to configure the math expression. We have to mention which are the metrics we want to monitor, and how long we want to monitor it, whether we want to monitor it for a minute or 5 minutes, and then the alarm will automatically take an action or send a notification to a particular set of email address or ITSM system, or it can send it to um, mobile message also. You can send it, or else you can also take some automation easy to action, or else you can also configure auto scaling. If you want to create more servers or reduce the servers automatically based on the increase in consumption, it will take automatic action. So as I told you, like, you can configure multiple alarms using the same SNS topic. So it's not like one to one. You can create a SNS topic, and that SNS topic could be used for multiple alarms. And you can also create one metric or multiple metrics in the same if there are multiple metrics, they call it as composite metric. If it is just one metric, it is a single metric, right? So when you configure the alarm, you have to specify specific settings, like what kind of duration you want to monitor, and basically, like, you have to select which metrics you want to monitor. And then when something goes beyond the threshold, what we want to do, whether we want to take we want EC2 actions to be taken using from the CloudWatch agent, or we want just the notification to the team for them to take actions, right? There are three different options here. So now it should show an alarm. Okay, so I think it might have stopped already. See, this is like the spike was simulated and then it went away. Okay, so that's the reason. It will be the same thing. Okay, so if it is continuously hitting it, then see the system also now it is below 75% threshold. So that's the reason that is also saying okay. So if I want to just try to bring it again, okay, it is consistently above 80%. So after a minute, it should show in alarm state. So that's what you will see, right? So that's what we saw some time back. So if it goes back to the normalcy, then the state will be okay. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. So I also can check whether I've got some alert. See, I've got the notification. It is saying that where exactly? 4 minutes back. Okay, let's give it some time. I can also run it again on this server. Okay, any questions on metrics and alarms? These two are very, very important topic. Okay, so alarms are nothing but like if you want to evaluate a specific metric or a composite of metric, and if you want to configure the threshold level, so the blue line is the threshold level, whether 70% or 60% the free space is less than 10% for your disk, automatically it will evaluate for the specific duration, and it will notify you directly on your email or stuff. Okay, the next one is the dashboard. Before going to dashboard, any questions on?
It's free, right, Stalin?
Sorry,
Stalin. This is free, chargeable. This one,
basic
alarm
monitoring
and
is, yeah, alarm. See how many number of notifications you are sending. Based on that, you will be charged. So SNS notification pricing. So there is a free limit. There is a definite free tier. Okay, so free tier, the first 1 million SNS request per month are free. Okay, and then beyond the 1 million, it is 50 cents per 1 million after the first 1 million. First 1 million is free. See, for us, for our lab and all, we are not going to send beyond 1020. Okay, but if in real time, it is 1 million. 1 million SNS notifications are free per month, and if beyond that 1 million, if it is 50 cents per 1 million, SNS is chargeable. So the service from monitoring aspect, there is no charges, but for notification you will be charged, and for basic monitoring it is free of cost. But for detailed monitoring you have to pay for it.
okay. Per minute it will charge, right?
Yeah.
Detail monitoring.
Detailed monitoring, if you are collecting additional metrics, additional
Basic is set
dimensions.
every 5 minutes.
Yeah, basic is like every 5 minutes, right? And then it doesn't give you every metric. It gives you the basic 10 metrics. But if you are going beyond that, if you are enabling more metrics and more data, then obviously you are occupying more capacity from AWS side, so you will be charged for it. Okay, so it is changed to in alarm state. So the system is continuously hitting the utilization, and of course I will have to get the email. Yeah, let's wait for that. So these are two important topics. Now let's go to the dashboard. Yeah, you can ask question if there are any on the metrics alarms. We'll quickly connect on the dashboard thing.
In cost management, where it will come? These rates
Anomaly
where I can.
detection. Anomaly detection is there. Let me show you. So cell.
So, if anybody want to
Uh-huh.
means monitoring the cost, how
Yeah,
they
yeah.
will
So
monitor.
see, generally all the things you can reach via the billing and cost management console. So here under the cost management console, you will have the anomaly detection here. So if I scroll down, it will tell me like where exactly the increase in cost. This is actually integrated with CloudWatch behind the scene. Okay, so if there is some new service that has been created, or if there is some additional usage on a particular service, automatically this will send us the notification, cost anomaly detection. So same way, like if you go and configure that, if the pricing goes beyond $20 per month or $100 per month, you should get notification. So that's the way you can configure, or else automatically if someone has created or selected some service from the marketplace, or if they have enabled AWS WAF advanced option or Shield advanced, automatically that is going to increase the cost by $30 or $50. So it will consider that as an unusual spend, and it will send a notification. So here is where the cost anomaly detection could be enabled. And again, it is also a free service, but for SNS alert notification, you will be charged for that. So again, same exact thing. 1 million is free, and beyond 1 million per month, you have to pay for it. I don't know what's going on. So the problem is I have enabled two different notification. Let me just delete one of them. So any questions on this thing, CloudWatch? See, the other system went away. It is in green. Okay, so that's the reason it is still there. So coming to the dashboard, dashboard is at the very top. As I told you, there are two different dashboard option. Dashboard is a great way to set up a view for your business application or a specific region or a specific set of services. If you want your L1 team or your SOC team to monitor the specific important metrics very closely, you can create a graph, and then this graph can be from different regions or different accounts. You can combine them together. It is a global view, okay, that you are going to get. You can also configure specific time zone, specific refresh interval, and then you can also integrate with different tools like Amazon Cognito or identity management. So by default, like you can create I think three dashboards are free. Up to 50 metrics each are free. But if you're going beyond three dashboard, and if you are going beyond 50 metrics, then I think per dashboard per month you have to pay $3. Okay, so dashboard is a way to combine the different metrics for a business application. And if you want to closely monitor some of those important aspects, and let me show you first a demo. So here AWS provides you automatic dashboard. You can also use this. For example, if I want to monitor my EC2 instance, I can go and select that specific EC2 instance. Let's say this is the dashboard automatically it has created, right? It is showing me CPU utilization, it is showing me disk, it is showing me network, the other stuffs. And even if I want to add additional things, I can also go and select them, right? So here I can just click on add to dashboard, and then I can give it a name. I can just say stan Windows VM001 dashboard. So if I want to continuously monitor, okay, you should not leave any space or create new one. Create new. Okay, so now I can just look at that particular system very closely. Even if I want to add any additional steps, I can go and change it. See here under the adjustment option, if I just say maximize, I can make it into full screen. So this is how you will see it in your SOC or the network operation center or the SOC operation center. For a specific critical application, you can monitor whatever the different dimensions that you want to do. So even if you want to add any additional things, you can go and um, add any additional metrics if you want. For example, if I want to change some additional things, or if I want to bring additional content from my different sources, if I have some Power BI or some different data source, I can also integrate that, and I can start seeing it. So here, for an example, if I want to see some more stuffs in a number format, okay, I can also go and select a specific thing. Let's say I want to include that disk free percentage in a number format. Let's say the temp, or not this one, right? The other one. Okay, anyway, for just for an example, I want to just select it, and then I want to create that widget. And you can add as many widget as you want. So it is very easy to update. So if I want to move this to top, I can just select it, and then let's say, where is the drag option? This option. So if I want to bring it to top, I can just adjust it, customize it the way I want. So if I want to monitor disk used percentage or memory used percentage, I can just adjust it. So if I want to add one more widget, like let's say I want to have the memory utilization, or maybe let's say stacked area. And if I want to select another metric, I can go and select that custom metric also. let's say this one, and then add it to the widget. So it will get added here. I can just move it to the top. So you can adjust it very well. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so you can maximize it, minimize it. If you want to bring it into one console, you can just do it. So if I want to just see how much the memory utilization is, I can just do it. So you can adjust it whatever way. If you want to change it also, you can change it. I can, this is my memory utilization. Okay, and then I can just say this is my disk usage at the root level. Okay, if you want to add application level also, you can add that slash particular application drive, and then file system, it will automatically show. Similarly for Windows, you can monitor C drive, D drive, and E drive. So these things you can adjust. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So if you want to just adjust these things and bring multiple things, you can also put it here, or if you want to make some adjustment, you can do it. If you want to remove something, if I don't want to watch these things, I can just go and remove it. Okay, I can just delete this thing. If I don't want this thing, I can just delete it. So whichever steps, if I want to add it or maximize it, you have the option to go and configure the dashboard. If you want to change the interval, if I want to watch it for every 5 minutes instead of every 10 minutes, I can change it. Earlier it was 10 minutes. Now you can see that the metrics will change if it supports. I can also change it for 1 minute. So based on the duration, or if you want to watch it for a particular time, I can also do it. If I want to watch it for last uh, 5 days, let's say, or last 2 days, I can also apply it. The graph will automatically update for last 2 weeks. So you can see that, sorry, last 2 days, yesterday and today, it is visible, 4th and 5th of November. So you can just, if you want to adjust these things, and if I want to see only specific server also, you can do it. See, if my application has got web server, application server, and database server, if I want to monitor all three of them, I can have it in one console. Or if I just want only one of them, for example, let's say I want only web and app, I can just remove that database from here. So it just clicking that into mark, cross mark, and it will get removed. You can save it. Okay, that way you can just monitoring it. Currently it is monitoring all the three servers in my environment, and if I just want to monitor only one server or two server, I can just go and remove it. So that option is here. So you can customize as you want. If your business has multiple servers, you can collate them together into one dashboard. Or if you want to just monitor only one server, you can also add just one server and then create the widget as you want. So AWS provides you a lot of automation dashboard, where you can just start with that automated dashboard and customize as you want. Or else you can also create, I can just save this, and if I want to use the same dashboard for some other account, I can also go and share it. So there is a share dashboard option. Or if I want to give permission for specific people also, I can just give specific access. So if I just say share, it will tell us like which account you want to share. Whichever AWS account you want to share. If I just give those AWS account, if I log into those AWS account also, I will be able to see those dashboard in those account. So there is an option to create a dashboard and share the dashboard across multiple account. So I've created these two dashboard. If I want to switch between these two dashboard, I can just select this thing. So this is something which I added earlier and deleted it. This is the one which we created today. The other one I have created 2 years back, and it is still lying here. Okay, I have not updated anything. I can just go and delete the dashboard. Okay, so if you want to create more dashboard, you can just create it. So I can create it from scratch also. I want to monitor my Amazon Linux, just for an example, monitoring. And I can start adding it from scratch also. So if I don't want it to use the automated dashboard, I can start adding it from the scratch. I can just say I want to add the stacked area, and I can just select specific stuff. Let's say I want to include a specific metric. Let's say Amazon Linux, right? Amazon Linux. So let's say I want to watch the CPU credit usage. I can add this. So similarly, I can keep adding as many metrics as I want. So if I want to add a gauge for the disk, Let's say this is the Amazon Linux. I want to monitor the boot partition. So that doesn't have any usage. Yeah, maybe like whichever you want, you can just keep adding. So that doesn't have any metrics. So see, this is how you can add it. You can just adjust it as many tiles you want. So there is option to customize the way that you can. So you can also clone the dashboard. If you want to have existing dashboard and then edit the source, you can also duplicate the existing dashboard and then save it in a different name, and you can start editing it. So there are many ways to do it, and you can link the chart with another tool. You can also get it from different sources. So these are all Prometheus, Grafana. You can integrate with different tool sets. You can also integrate with OpenSearch. You can integrate with managed Prometheus. You can also get the data from Amazon S3. If someone is uploading the monitoring metrics continuously on S3, from S3 also you can pick up that source file and you can start showing it as a graph here. So that way there are many different options. It is not just AWS alone. Even you can integrate with OpenSearch and then Prometheus kind of containerization environment. If you're using Prometheus metrics, you can capture those. But AWS has got container insights. Amazon CloudWatch has got container insight, but earlier we did not have a lot of metrics for other services like Lambda functions and container insight. But now I could see that there is a lot of options for insights, so you can use those here. Earlier when container insight was not there, we used to have the managed Prometheus and managed Grafana for looking at the containerized workload. But now AWS provides you native option where you can go and look at EKS, ECS, and then even Lambda function. Even if you have some elastic beanstalk, application insights can also be monitored here. So I think this system is beyond that usage. Let me stop it. The system is in not responsive state now. Okay, let me stop this utilization. Okay, now it should come to normal. Okay, 7-8%. Okay, fine. So let's close these things. So those are the three very important topics. Okay, metrics, alarms, and dashboard. There is one more topic called logs or events. There are these two topics are also pretty important. So but from exam point of view, from syllabus point of view, those are the three topics which we have already discussed. So events, alarms, and dashboard. On top of that, the logging concept is there. So logging can be done using two ways. One, AWS provides you native logging using the CloudTrail service. So that has got a lot of data for the last 90 days. But if you want to store the data coming out of your systems or the events coming out of your system beyond the 90 days, or if you want to accumulate into particular structure, what you can do is you can use the AWS CloudWatch logging or log group concept. So, for example, you might install some application on your system like Apache or any third-party services. If you want to bring those custom logs, or if you want to capture those logs into one central location, what you can do is you can create a log group folder here, and then you can start getting them. Certain services, for example, if you're creating a Lambda function, or if you're creating containers, or if you're creating certain services, automatically it will create a log group. So yesterday we saw something in Stockholm or somewhere, right? Think in Stockholm only, there was some existing log group. So wherever you are creating specific services, so automatically certain services will create a default log group. But if you want to have your own log group, then you can customize it, configure it as per the requirement, and you can start putting it together here. So I'll show you quickly how to capture the logs from your system. See, this is how it will look like. So it will give you the detailed information, when it was created, who has accessed this, how many invocation has been done, how much duration the invocations were running. So it will create multiple subfolders with timestamp. So that way you can go and check out when the Lambda function has started, how much time it took for the initialization. So all those details will be available. Let's go back to that region. and then I'll show you how to create a custom log group and then start capturing the information from your Windows or Linux systems. So even you can capture the network specific VPC flow log. I think during the VPC network section, I was showing you how to enable VPC flow log and then capture the log groups. So that demo is already available during the network class. But now if you want to capture some more additional metrics or logs from your system, I will show you how to capture it. So logs are comparatively little higher in size. Okay, let me just go back to the root. Compared to your metrics, logs are detailed in nature. It will tell you like detailed information, what has happened, who has modified it, when the system went down, how many users have logged in. The reason is like everything is text information there. So if there is a lot of text value, the consumption of the disk space will be higher, right? So consumption of storage is comparatively high compared to your metrics. Okay, metrics is just numerical data. CPU utilization 80% at 10 o'clock, 90% at 11 o'clock. So it is capturing over the time period, and based on the timestamp, it is only storing the numerical data. So here with log, it is storing the issue, it is storing the description of that particular issue, it is storing how we can take the remediation steps. It is giving you a lot of insight, what has happened, which user has logged in. Because of the heavy size, because of the detailed set of information, log analytics or log insights is slightly higher in cost if you want to capture some of this data. So log groups, log streams can be configured from different sources. So log streaming is something like you can configure it from external tools, or if you have some SIEM configuration done on Azure or on premises, you can continuously receive that using the CloudWatch log groups or log stream. Either you can send it to your Amazon S3, or you can also configure Kinesis to get all those log streaming data into AWS portal. But now I will show you the log group concept, how you can configure the log groups on your system and start getting those information. Right? Let me quickly show you that. So for which you definitely if you have the CloudWatch agent, it's fine. Let me show you. Let me log into one of the system. Okay, on this system, if I want to configure that, let me see. No, this is not the command. Memory disk custom metrics. CloudWatch agent. Yeah, so I think this command will help us to go and fetch it. Create the CloudWatch agent configuration file, Amazon CloudWatch configuration. Yeah, I think this will be much better. So if you run this command, it will start the configuration file. Okay, install CloudWatch. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, so this command is going to take us through a wizard, and it will ask us what kind of configuration you want to fetch from the system. Maybe before doing this, I will try to install some packages. Install Apache 2, or else I think Apache 3. I don't know what kind of version we have, but let me install this Apache, or else let's install the HTTPD. That should be also fine. Let me do that. Okay, a lot of installation, a lot of dependencies are there. Okay, let's give it a minute. So logs. Okay, it's done. Maybe I will install the HTTPD package. That way it is much more easier to install HTTPD. Okay, so let's run that command now. So we have some packages additional. So this is asking me whether you are going to do it for Linux system. So this is Amazon CloudWatch agent configuration file. Okay, this is mainly to collect the metrics and logs. So the same thing you can also do for collecting the metrics also. So earlier we did it through the SSM parameter and stuff, right? So you can also do it locally. So if it is a Linux server, you can select Linux. If it is Windows, you can select option 2. If it is Unix, you can choose Darwin, third option. So this is a Linux system. I will go with the default choice. So it is asking me whether I'm doing it on the EC2 instance or whether I'm doing it on outside of AWS. Anything, if it is on Azure or GCP or on premises, you have to select the second option on premises. So since this is EC2, I'm selecting first option. So it is asking me which user are you planning to run the agent, whether the CloudWatch agent default or root user. So I can go with the CloudWatch agent. It is asking me whether I want to turn on the statistics daemon. For now, I don't want to turn on any additional daemon. Do you want to monitor metrics from collect D? You have to install the collect D daemon before that. So I will say no for that also. And then it is asking, do you want to monitor any host metrics? So if I want to monitor memory and other stuff, I can say yes. Okay. Do you want to monitor CPU metrics per core? Yes, if you want to. Do you want to add any additional EC2 dimension? So if you want to do it, you can just say yes. So this is how you can include additional metrics also. So instead of going and configuring it in SSM parameter store and pushing it to multiple systems, if you have only one or two systems, you can run this wizard and then you can configure the metrics and logs that you want to connect. Okay, I can just say yes, and then it is asking me whether I want to have high resolution metrics. High resolution metrics is sub-minute resolution. By default, you are seeing the details for every 1 minute, right? If you want to see it for every 10 second or 1 second or 30 second, you can also go for it. But I don't want to go for the high resolution. I want to go with the default resolution. So high resolution is you are getting more granular details about your system. Okay, so I'm going with the 60 second. It is asking me which default metrics you want to configure. If I want to go for a detailed advanced option, I can go for it. But for now, I'm going with the basic one. And it is saying, are you satisfied with the above configuration or whatever I have configured? It is going to capture some more additional data. The same thing, right? See, this is what the JSON file had: memory, disk, usage. So the same thing, you can also configure it on the system directly instead of going with SSM parameter. Okay, it is asking, do you have any existing CloudWatch log agent configuration file to import for migration? No. Do you want to monitor any log files? I'll say yes. Which log file path it is asking? I will say, let's say /var/log httpd. This is where, right? I will check quickly. Let me check where exactly that log files are stored. So if you want to specifically monitor an application log or a specific path, you can give that path and include it. Yeah. So no, var log httpd is there. Cloud init file is there. So there is no log, right? Let's say so no one has accessed anything. So where exactly the logs will be stored in general? Uh, log file. So let me try to do one thing. I will try to access this and then see if log files are getting generated.